Today I'm harvesting some chamomile and I thought I'd take you with me because it's a really fun way to perk up your day, in my opinion, during the summer and all throughout the summer, because the more you harvest, the more flowers that you're going to get. It's pretty simple, but there are a couple things that, I wish I would have known when I first started out picking chamomile flowers that I thought I'd share with you. Welcome to True Freedom Permaculture, where we discuss natural living and how to have a green thumb even if you weren't born with one. Today I'm harvesting Roman chamomile, and you might have heard that there's different types of chamomile. There's German chamomile as well, which, to be honest, German chamomile is touted more for its medicinal properties. However, all the types of chamomile have medicinal properties, and they each have their pros and cons. So this, being Roman chamomile, is a hardy perennial, and the fact that I really don't have to do much to it is really appealing to me. Now, if you have German chamomile, although it's an annual, it will usually readily self-seed, so that could also be a low-maintenance strategy as well. It depends on what you're looking for. Roman chamomile has this beautiful kind of carpet effect where it spreads out via rhizome, and it's more creeping in that way, as opposed to German chamomile, which just solely grows upright. But whichever type you have, it's going to have its own gifts. So today it is morning and it is after the dew has dried. Always best to pick your herbs when things are dry in order to avoid excess amounts of moisture, which is really going to encourage mold growth, especially right now because it's summer, and it's summer on the East Coast here, so it's very muggy, very humid. But however, I wanted to get to it before the high sun of the afternoon, or the midday, I should say, because that will take away some of the essential oils that you want for its medicinal qualities. So here you can see I'm in my chamomile bed. And they're just happy. They're part of the daisy family, which when you're looking at one up close should not surprise you. And they just kind of put a smile on my face whenever I pass them by. Now, when you're harvesting chamomile, there is a special tool that you can use. It's sort of like a hand rake. You can also use it for blueberries. And if I had a lot of crops that required that, or if I had, let's say, like a large commercial scale garden from which I needed to harvest, I would definitely think that that's a good investment. However, being the minimalist I am, I just want less stuff. And so if I don't have to buy something, I'm not going to. So the sun has come out here, so I'm going to get started harvesting. And basically there is a certain time as far as what the flower goes, the flower maturity, from which it is best to harvest. So you don't want to get them before they're fully opened, but at the same time you don't want to get to them when they are like past their prime. And I'll show you some examples up close. So I wanted to show you a close-up example of the best time to pick chamomile flowers. So it's actually when the petals have started growing back like this. You can see it looked like I pushed it back, but it's actually just growing like that. As opposed to here on my right, now this means that it's not quite ready yet. The petals, I mean, I'm still going to pick it, but it's not, they say it's not at its optimum peak. So the petals are still growing upward. Now, in order to harvest a flower, it's really simple. So here's a perfect one where the petals haven't gone back fully. You can just take it with your hand and just kind of pull it off. And see, I didn't get much stem. And the petals, although in commercial teas you're not going to see the petals, but the petals are going to have medicinal uses as well, and they are great for steeping and are edible too. As far as eating the whole flower, especially with the Roman chamomile species, it's kind of bitter, so you can eat the leaves and you can steep the leaves to make tisanes, but it is going to have a slightly bitter quality, which I don't mind. And we've actually kind of phased out a lot of the pleasure of eating bitter foods out of the American diet, but they do serve an important purpose. So I'm just going to continue to harvest my chamomile flowers as we go along. And if you do this on a regular basis, you should get a few to several harvests of chamomile flowers throughout a season. I have to say, I don't mind picking chamomile by hand. It's nice to just sit out here and enjoy the flowers. Now, chamomile itself is an herbal nervine, and what that means is that it strengthens and tones the nervous system. So as opposed to, medicines, modern medicines might have a different approach where they seek to dull the nervous system. Well, chamomile will help to strengthen it to make it more resilient so it can handle more everyday stress. And I really think this is one of the great herbs for the modern age, and especially with everything going on in the world. It's nice to have something that's kind of like calming. Obviously, the most useful, there's different uses for chamomile. You can make simple syrups out of them. You could bake with it, but most people use it in a tea. And a lot of people drink this tea as a calming tea before bed. Personally, I don't want to have to get up and use the restroom in the middle of the night, so I would rather drink the tea with dinner and kind of like ease my way into it there, but that is up to you. Now, as far as the scent of chamomile, my friend thought I was crazy, but when the foliage was growing before it had flowered, I thought it smelled like bubble gum. But I guess that's subjective, because like I said, I had my friend try it. I was like, try it smells like bubble gum. She's like, I don't get that at all. So maybe that's a personal thing. The Roman variety of chamomile is going to have more of a fruity kind of apple-like quality, so they say. I could see that. Apple or kind of tropical fruit, like pineapple too. Whereas the German chamomile is going to have more of a sweet hay flavor. I'm going to purposely break off one with a little bit of stem. It's not a big deal, but if it is, just take your fingernail and kind of cut it off, and that way you have just the flower bud. So don't sweat it if you get a little stem. Great, so you can see that I've collected some chamomile flowers in here, and what I'm going to do is spread them out on a screen to dry. You can use a dehydrator as well. I don't know. I'm not a commercial grower, and I just do this as a hobby. So for me, just having I use an old window screen propped up on a drying rack, that works really well for me. So that is what I'm going to do with these, and you can also steep them fresh too. So today, if I get around to it, maybe I'll treat myself to a cup of chamomile tea. Here are the flowers drying on my window screen. It's been about a day, but they're already getting crunchy, which is a good sign. So I'm going to leave them a little bit longer just to make sure I get all the moisture out before I store them. But they're so pretty, aren't they? Well, hey, thanks for joining me today in my garden. That's all I have, and I will see you all again soon.